That. Joining us now, though, to talk about the car and the company is Tesla watcher Sawyer Merritt. Sir, good to have you on. We've talked about many people in the past, not just yourself, but others, about full self-driving and how cool it is. It's not all there 100% yet, but it's getting there. And could Tesla, the company, do a better job, maybe even like TV ads, I know it's old school, of selling the public on exactly what this is, yes or no?
Yeah, I think they could. Tesla owners are currently now driving roughly 15 million miles on average per day using FSD, which is roughly a 250% increase just from 3 months ago. So that's roughly 1 billion miles every 68 days. And it took Tesla around 3.5 years to hit its first billion miles. And on top of that, Tesla's compute capacity is, going to increase, I think, roughly 500% this year. And to me, how can any other automaker catch up to Tesla in terms of data gathering when they have a fleet of millions of vehicles already gathering billions of miles of data?
Hi friends, welcome back. So what the heck is going on with Tesla stock? It's been surging the last couple of days after the earnings. I wanted to play for you Sawyer. He's the Tesla stock promoter. Basically goes on CNBC and they throw him a bunch of softball questions. There's no debate. There's no questioning. You just say, hey, Sawyer, what do you think about the Tesla stock? Oh, I think it's awesome. Oh, thank you. And that's basically what it was.
Well, and Tesla drivers, to your point, they're the proselytizers, right? They're the ones out there preaching to the masses. You got to try, even to other Tesla owners, try the FSD, or to non-Tesla owners. But there's only so much that they can do. I mean, they're going to touch one or two people at a time.
I want to show you guys sort of what the stock is up to and where it possibly may go. Currently, it's at 170, and you can see 173 in the after hours. So the question is, has this thing bottomed? If you're a bull, you think so, but I want to take a look at the charts, and that's what we're doing together, guys. So this has actually been in a downward trend for a while. You guys can see this for yourself, right? You can see a little channel here. And the real key for Tesla is, can it hold this bottom here? And can it break over this $200 level? I think that's a key level. If it doesn't, it'll probably head right back down. Essentially, this thing is a trading, right? And I want you to understand that stocks don't always move in a straight line, right? So maybe a couple days it'll go up, next couple days it'll go down, right? So, but the overall trend, you got to break, and it's in a downward trend. However, in the favor of the Tesla bulls, the volume was very, very heavy for Tesla today. I was looking at this, so it's crazy. 124 million shares of volume today, which is nuts. And to give you an idea, that was the top traded stock on the market. Coming in second was Meta. And to give you an idea of how popular Tesla stock is, the average for the 3 months trading volume on this thing is 100 million shares. And in comparison, Ford is 54. You could take a look at Intel, 48, and Meta 17 million. Now, obviously, you're going to ask the question like, well, I mean, can you compare, volumes of shares? They're all different prices, right? Well, so this is where it's interesting. Is if you want to take a look at just in terms of dollar amounts flowing through. Well, actually, this is here. I'll show you this chart here first. I guess 21 billion worth of dollars are flowing through the market in Tesla. Meta was actually more than that. So depends if you want to look at the amount of money flowing through or the amount of shares flowing through. So Meta and Nvidia were up there, and then Tesla was number 3. So this does show you, though, that a lot of people are trading Tesla. I wanted to show you this also, too. There was, in terms of a technical bounce or a dead cat bounce, that's what it appears to be with Tesla. Everything else in the market was showing sells except for the Teslas, which is the buys, and the Googles, and then the AVGO. But I think this is a technical bounce. In terms of price prediction, a lot of people want to know. So if you ask Wall Street, this is what they'll tell you. They'll say, hey, it is all over the map. Morgan Stanley, who wants their money back from Tesla, or Elon Musk in particular, keeps pumping up saying, hey guys, it's going to be a $300 stock. You owe us money, Elon. Please, raise that stock price. Please sell it. Please pay us back. And if you don't know, he borrowed a bunch of money for Twitter. If you go on the lower end, Tesla, the price prediction's around $68. Even lower, I think the lowest on the street is something like 24, something of that nature. And also, too, currently we're sitting at 170. So the range on this thing, predictions, is all over the map. You're looking at a plus 82% to the upside, or a negative 60%. So that's sort of where you get this analyst rating of neutral. Now, the interesting thing is with the Sawyer pumper dude, promoter guy, the way he talks is everything's good and Tesla has no problem. So have a listen for yourself.
I think at the end of the day, butts and seats help sales Teslas. And I think the same can be said about FSD. It's something you really need to try in person to really understand the experience. It's one thing to see videos online, but it's a whole nother experience in person. So I think people just got to try it.
I was schlepping up the West Side Highway for the NYC to here today, and the guy next to me, we were in bumper-to-bumper traffic, was on his phone in a Tesla, no hands on the wheel, because the car was driving itself. And I have to say, I got a little jealous because I was both hands on the wheel. By the way, quickly, Beijing Auto Show going on right now. How worried, if at all, are you about all these cheap Chinese companies that may come in here, Sawyer?
Yeah, China is the most competitive EV market right now, but Tesla and BYD are really the only automakers making money on EVs. And, despite all the cheaper EVs launching, I suspect we'll see some consolidation in the market, which would help Tesla. And BYD has also shared that they have no short-term plans to enter the American market. So Tesla really doesn't have to worry about that too much. Tesla's brand is still really strong in China, and I suspect they'll do well in the years to come.
All right, well, we'll see what happens with BYD, to your point. Sawyer Merritt, always love having you on. Great stuff online and everywhere else.
So as you can see, according to him, they're going to do awesome in China because you know what? The other brands are no good, and China, loves Tesla. I would dispute that, actually, guys. I think the big problem for Tesla is that if they want to go cheaper, right? If they want to try to build this cheaper car and get everyone excited about that, or if they want to make money with robotaxi, etc., I don't think robotaxi will ever get any kind of approval in China. Good luck with that. The other thing is too is if you try to make a cheaper car, you're not going to out cheap Chinese brands who can come in with a $10,000 car. So good luck with that. And so then the issue for Tesla is, they keep cutting prices, right? And they kind of lose their shine. They lose that luxury appeal, etc. And that's something that Tesla tried to do when they first entered the market. Say, hey, we're a luxury brand, come buy us. We're electric, we're new, etc. But now there's a lot of choices in China, way more than in USA actually in terms of electric vehicles. And I keep seeing the new ones coming off the assembly line, and they look pretty good. Talking about the Chinese brands, it's not just BYD. There are multiple brands there. So the argument that the Sawyer guy would make, say, oh well, BYD and Tesla are the only ones to be making money. Other ones are going to lose and fade away. Maybe. But I want to just point this out there. When you watch these kind of things on CNBC or otherwise, know that when you're seeing an advertisement or promotion, when again there's no debate and the essentially the quote reporter doesn't push back at all. That's what a stock promotion looks like. The other thing is too, which I thought was interesting, is they didn't bring up contemporary news, which I think is reasonable to talk about. And this is something I want to mention. I mentioned it before on the channel briefly, but I just want to mention again. There was a person that was killed when someone was using the autopilot on Tesla, the FSD thing. So the headline is, and this is just a couple days ago, a Tesla driver killed motorcyclist in Snohomish County while using autopilot. And this is outside the Seattle area, if you know. And I guess what they're going to charge him with is homicide. So it says Tesla driver on autopilot charged with vehicle homicide after motorcyclist death. This is going to be a big challenge going forward for any of this kind of technology. The reason why I'm bringing it up is because one of the premises of the Tesla bulls is like, hey, Tesla's going to be awesome. We're going to make tons of money because of, FSD, etc. The couple contentions I have with that is, one, currently in its current state, it's level 2. Other car companies are level 4. So this idea that they're ahead of other companies is just ludicrous. It's like they're under leveled, I guess you could say is the right word. The other issues too, and I don't want to make any jokes about anyone dying, so just make sure that that's clear. Somebody died. It's not cool. And I guess the case that you make is like when you use your FSD thing, you acknowledge that you're watching the steering wheel, etc. But this clearly shows, and I think the person might have been playing on the phone or whatever, but it clearly shows that there's still problems, right? And the issue becomes with this kind of technology is, will there be a point to where we start suing companies like, hey, your driver killed someone? Because right now, the way that it works is like when you enter in the car and you do your FSD, you have to acknowledge, hey, I'll take responsibility, I'll watch the wheel, etc., right? But if you want to go to the actual, where there's a robot driving, they're going to be responsible, and that's going to open up the company to all sorts of litigation, etc., and liabilities. So do keep an eye on this kind of stuff. I do take this stuff seriously. And I'll let you be the judge if you think the driver's at fault or the robot. You have to be the judge of that. The other thing too, which I want to mention as well, which they don't talk about so much on the pumper channels, is the valuations, the PE ratios, the PEG. the problem with Tesla, guys, is just it's overvalued, and it's and I get it, guys, I get it. If you love Tesla and you think, oh, they're going to build lots of robots, lots of robotaxis and all that kind of stuff, and I just say maybe it's a story, right? For right now, it's a story until you actually see these things printing money, because right now the numbers don't show it. When you get like your PEs in the 40s and 70s and your pegs in the like 2 and 7, it's like ludicrous. And just to give you some frame of reference, you want your pegs like around the 1s, right? So you can make the case that we're like, 6 times overvalued, that kind of thing, or triple overvalued. It just depends how, you want to read this numbers. But it is real. And that's why I show you guys everything. The volumes were pouring in very, very heavy for Tesla. The pumpers out in full force telling you the story. And looking at the chart, I gave you some, sort of realistic things to look for. Can it break back over 200 and hold it? Or is it just going to go start heading back down? Because at the moment, it is heading in a downward path. I mean, I can see it right there. And this is something that stocks do. They go up, they go down. But you'll also want to, just kind of pull back and look at the overall trend. So that's what I'm seeing. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts. Where do you think Tesla stock is going? And what do you think about the pumper on CNBC TV? So thanks again, everyone, and I'll catch you next video.
Well, and Tesla drivers, to your point, they're the proselytizers, right? They're the ones out there preaching to the masses. You got to try, even to other Tesla owners, try the FSD, or to non-Tesla owners. But there's only so much that they can do. I mean, they're going to touch 1 or 2 people at a time.